and the rest of them, and it's something they can underwrite, considering the kind of bills that the kind of money they get in their clubs per week. That that money is peanuts to them. But you see, that person will be missing the point. You see, the point of representing your country is honor, and the country must show appreciation, no matter how small it is. And then apart from that, it's when you look at the squad, you still have struggling players. I recall there was this interview that was given by Sunday Ulisse on the podcast, where he said that, you see, look, most times when we come to play for Nigeria, and those allowances are not meant to be taken home, they are meant to service their kids and kin who come to camp to see them, including even journalists that are their friends. You understand? So the money, most of the money, they don't take it home. They don't take it. They just use it to help Nigerians who came to see them. You understand? So you see, the Nigerian football is, was it how many days ago were we talking about the case of the FIFA money that was sent to them to build the stadium? Now we're having this now. So you see, this deterioration started in 20. That is the final stage of the deterioration of Nigerian football. For me, started in 2014. A lot of politics was introduced in that. That was when Stephen Keshi was there. And the person that did that started it, was Adeyemi Amechi, who wanted to introduce politics of 2015 into this. I should be able to. I think I still have a letter, to that effect. That a letter from the FA in Rivers State to the presidency on how they've been trying to carol Super Eagles, to follow Amechi, because the then governor was having an issue with the president. So after then, after the loss in 2014, of course, there were issues, so it became polarized. Then, of course, the issue of representation, the geopolitical zone representation and things like that, all of them started happening. If you recall, there was this coach, Flamingos, that lost 4-0, scandalously. He came out and was praising himself because he said all Nigerians were represented in his team. Can you imagine? That is the kind of football we now run in the country. A country that is a football that is not about merit, it's about federal character now. And that it's not what the Super Eagles used to be. It's not what the national team used to be.
All right, this boy is going into play. Tomorrow is Thursday. I think their game is tomorrow. And then they have another game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Against who wins between Cameroon and let's look at this. What will be the mood and motivation for the boys?
You see,
between now and tomorrow morning.
Let me tell you something. See, look. Aside the physical prowess and everything happens in the head. Honestly, you understand? There were this scouts who came to Nigeria recently. Was it sometime last year? Yeah, sometime last year. I think they came from Sporting Gijon, Spain. I happened to be at the press briefing at one of his hotel somewhere around, Adedayo side. And we got talking. The question I asked them is, what is it that attracts you to Nigerian players? He looked at me and said, well, I think it's the mentality. I said, so you mean it's not about skill only? No. He said, no. That it's about the mentality. You see, there is a, scout, a well-trained scout is trained to see a player's mentality. How tough is he up here? So most of the games that you are talking about, it happens in the head first. So, and that's where you have this tactical distance. So the moment you don't get that in place, you don't put them in the right frame of mind. You are, that is by 50% you are already down.
Okay, well, it was very embarrassing for Nigeria to miss out just on the other side.
Very embarrassing.
If we go into this game and this is not resolved, well, we'll expect that the boys will still play regardless.
Okay.
But we wish them all the very best tomorrow. Keep an eye on the stories and we'll report the latest. Let's move on to another story.
All right. President Bola Tinubu has dispatched a high-level delegation to London to explore the possible transfer of former Deputy Senate President Ikwe Ekweremadu to Nigeria to serve the remainder of his prison sentence. He sent a team, includes the Foreign Affairs Minister, Yusuf Tuga, and Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi, and they met with the officials of the UK Ministry of Justice on Monday to discuss legal and diplomatic channels for repatriation under the international prisoner transfer frameworks.
I don't understand this drama. Maybe there is something that Uwerunonye can give, to Nigeria that a lot of other prisoners are deserving of this kind of, I don't know. Let us be very clear. It is within the purview of the president to do something like that.
Okay.
To ask for a transfer of a highly pleased. And let us also be clear that Tinubu will not be the first person to ask for leniency.
Please set the record straight.
Yeah. It won't be the first person to ask for leniency for Uwerunonye. If you recall, before his sentencing, former President Olusegun Obasanjo did write to the Queen, was it also the King, begging for leniency, on behalf of Uwerunonye, considering the fact that the man has served meritoriously as a politician, deputy Senate president, and for several years. So when you lock up that kind of a man, it's the kind of shockwave it sends through the political system and stratum, then of course, you have to consider the stature of Nigeria. When a man that highly placed is sentenced for just human trafficking, it says a lot. It dents the image of the country. So sometimes, but, for some of us, we looked at, when you look at the entire issue, what it simply tells you is symptomatic of what Nigerian big men think of the average Nigerian. They are just like cattle, livestock that they can have the moment
and exploit at any time.
At any time. So I think that jurisprudence, that sent him into jail was meant to, make that lesson clear. That regardless of how powerful you are, the human life, there should be sanctity attached to human life and human organ. We are not, it's not like, what's the difference between cloning a human being just for harvesting its organ? There is no difference.
Or the closest rabbit.
Or the closest rabbits, So those are the moral issues that are there. And, for me, I'm kind of, that move is repulsive to me as a person, as a moral person. You understand? Not because I don't feel for Uwerunonye, but I think that at some point you have to make a point. And I think that President Tinubu is not clothing himself in glory by that move, because already you have a lot of controversy around you. You see, this penchant for coddling, romancing people with questionable characters is becoming too much. The moment you have a case of jail, certificate forgery, and you find all manners of people around you, it's becoming a problem.
So what do you what do you have to there's a social critic and activist Madi Shehu who said something. What do you think about what he said? He said that this push for the release of the former deputy Senate president is a political strategy ahead of 2027 elections, and saying that the election is approaching and Uwerunonye is the only visible Indigbo not yet on the train, and with him on board, Indigbo will finally be captured.
That is we are here. I discussed that. You see, a lot of people like Madi make mistakes about the way the average woman thinks. See, within some political circle, Uwerunonye, perhaps with some influence, was it not that same Uwerunonye that was beaten in Germany? Nearly
assaulted, rather.
Was beaten. Did you see the video?
Assaulted, rather. I think it's a better word. It's a milder word to use.
I saw the video, and that thing wasn't mere assault. he was harassed.
So somebody harassed,
booed,
and all.
In fact, they were attempting to strip him of his clothes. So it was that same Uwerunonye that you want to bring and present to Ndigbo. So there are certain things that But again, there is another thing to it. You see, there is this saying in Yoruba: "Bokobati baje, ijakemimo boluku." You understand? The moment your name, the good name is
stained,
gone,
gone.
the only thing that is left is how do I stay alive? So what probably he's calculating is this is a very desperate man who can do anything, use his old political contacts to give him what he wants. All he wants is just 25% of Ndigbo votes. Yeah, can he swing it? So that is it. Yeah, you are Ekweremadu. Yeah, sorry, Soludo. He backed him for re-election. Of course. Then of course, you now have an Ekweremadu at the Enugu axis there. Can put the political machineries in place. He's particularly popular within his senatorial zone.
Very.
He could put that and get his 25%. That is 2 states down. Then you have 3 other or 4 others. So all these are some of the things that if you look at it from political calculus, that could be, so Mahdi Shehu could be right on that thing. But in terms of whether to capture the Ndibu, these are exceptionally stubborn people. You understand? I'm one of them, so I know they are exceptional. It's not, they are so Republican in their nature.
So you think they're not easily coerced into?
There is a saying in Igbo, I think I've repeated it here, Igbo Amarezi, Igbo no king. You understand? So it's part of their nature. It's the culture. They give acclamation by consensus building. You have to have demonstrated that you can be relied on as a leader, before.
Right. Let me ask you this again. Between Nigeria, the delegation sent by the president, and to the UK, do you think this will pull through? And then do you think that's faith, that belief is there? Because from the report, it says it can complete the remaining years in the Nigerian facility. Do you think that the UK will agree to that and believe that truly and truly is going to be there?
I will be shocked if the UK justice system allows that to happen, considering the fact that they know exactly what happens in that prison. Have you forgotten Bobrisky? What happened, that he never spent a day in jail and all those things? We all know that he won't sleep in that jail. He's only going to be there for ceremonial purpose. Maybe 1 or 2 days. Look for a small guest house within the prison. I have some friends who just like I told you, one of my colleagues, had an issue and he was, on cybercrime related, and he was in prison, and he told him that it's a different world entirely. You have the VIPs, you have all manners of things, so you can live there comfortably, and there are other levels of, that raise the controversy when they said there is a guest house, they put them, so only when they are doing checks that they just come in. And of course, they'll be making donations to the prison officials and the rest of them prisoners, and of course, you live like a king. Wow. I mean, come on.
0807 777 9927. Again, 0807 777 9927 is the number to call to make a comment on any of the news stories that we've talked about so far.
All right, let's quickly take a few comments and then we'll move on to our next story. This time, we landed Abuja, and who's in the news? Always in the news. The Honorable Minister and former Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, is in the news this morning. And guess who is up against the Nigerian Army? An officer in the Navy. Well, we'll get to the details of that, but let's take a listen to Toyin.
Good morning, Danielle, Dayo, and Nicholas. Good morning. Hope you had a wonderful night. Thank God we are alive today. Let me quickly start by, trying to contributing to the NFF saga. I think it's time we, as a nation, plead with FIFA to allow us have an audit of the activities of the NFF, so that we can be sure of what they are doing and bring people that has not been doing as expected, people that have been taking what belongs to everybody into their own private pockets, so that we can bring them to book. Like Nicholas, like you said, that Keshi interview, from that interview, I heard him mention some monies that were supposed to be paid to them till today that were not paid. You can imagine when Keshi was paying till now. And recently, I came across a video on Facebook, I think. There was this young man that was analyzing how the under-17 women were treated. That after the tournament, they were given just 100,000 naira. After all these girls paid transport to camp, they bought the expenses to camp by themselves, and they were paid a paltry sum of 100K. You can imagine. And so also for the under-20 female team. What kind of a country are we? Now, at the brink of qualification for a World Cup, this is happening. This is a disgrace to every Nigerian. And the people that are bringing this upon us has to be investigated, and they have to be brought to book. We have to plead to FIFA to please allow us No, this independence they are enjoying is why they are doing these things and getting away with it.
All right. Thank you, Toyin. And that's your first reaction to the first story. And that has to do with the Nigerian Football Federation and the Super Eagles. Well, that's interview with Sunday Olise. Well, explosive interview. If you can catch your hand on it, please go listen, and probably you get a better understanding of things. Let's take a listen to this. Hello, good morning.
Yep, hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Could you please turn down the volume of your radio set, please? Turn it off, please.
Yeah, I've done that.
All right, thank you very much. What is your name and where are you calling from?
This is Mayor from Daisy. Good morning.
All
Good
right,
morning
Mayor.
to you, Mayor.
Good morning, Mayor. Please go ahead with
Yeah,
the
you know
comment.
what? Anything about football, you will see me there. You see, this fighter of NFF, for me, I would have preferred if these players leave this issue at the detriment of when the game wants to start and they decided to boycott the match. Because why will you be holding bonuses from 2019 till date? I don't know when we are going to get it right. Honestly, I don't know when we are going to get it right. Because after all now, when the coach did not qualify, is the coach that they will start. We are at the NFF, they are the one that tell us supposed to start, the coach is supposed to start for me. Because I don't just know, I don't know when we will get it right. Because it's becoming rampant quickly. See our teammates, they promised them now, they did not pay them. That is what I say about Chairman after 50 years before they fulfill it. Only God knows when they will fulfill this one. Good morning.
All right, thank you, Mayor. We're quite passionate about sports. Let's get right into the next story. This time, it's a young Nigerian officer, Lieutenant A.M. Yerima, the young, courageous naval officer who had a spat with the FCT Minister Wike over a disputed land matters, and it's gone viral, and everyone is talking about it.
Well, let me correct something. There was no spat there. I think what we saw was a honorable minister making a fool of himself in the public. You understand? And you see, let us just be very clear about certain things. You see, when they call you honorable, you see, I almost it's something that rebels in me each time I want to add that prefix honorable to Wike's name. You understand? Because everything he does in public is everything but honorable.
Regardless, he holds a position as a minister, so we don't have a choice. You don't have a choice.
Like I said,
it,
we just have to do it because we have to respect the office.
Yes, please.
You know, because you see, a military officer that is in uniform, fully clothed, is a symbol of Nigeria. So and let us be clear about one other thing. You see, the freedom, the safety, the security that the army provides, you don't want to know how they do it. Okay?
Let's take a call.
Let's take a call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Kola.
Please go ahead with your comment. Please turn down the volume of your radio set first, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
To put on what you were discussing. Going to the NFF, it's very unfortunate that this item, the match is just a day or 2 days to go, and then this kind of crisis but without the NFF doing it. It's very unfortunate. It's very long time to keep doing this kind of thing. So many allegations. And the government seems doing nothing about it to check the excesses and this fraudulent activities of NFF. I only know when we actually will get there. And for the Wike, it's very unfortunate that we could not imagine a high-ranked personnel to mess himself up publicly. You cannot imagine. You see, when you see any Nigerian uniform men, so far they are in uniform. They represent the entire country. So the respect should be given, no matter what. He doesn't need to have a public confrontation with him. He would rather call on the CDS or the Chief of Army Staff. Please, who is in charge? He's just messing himself up, to be honest. If I were Mr. President, Wike must be suspended. He has conducted himself unruly. Honestly, it's very unfortunate that Adidas are just messing up, and that is more reason why I wonder how and when Nigeria will get there. May God just have mercy on us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, caller. Well,
the guy about summarizes everything.
Okay.
All he needed to do was just call the superior officer that we have one of your man.
Put a
here.
call through
What
to the
is it?
CDS.
That was after.
Okay.
That was after the altercation. And did you hear the vulgarity he was throwing at that officer?
Exactly.
Get out. Things that can't be repeated.
In fact, foul words were used.
Foul words were used.
But here's where we're going. Here's where we're going. Do you think the officer conducted himself in a proper manner, representing the authority of Nigeria, in the sense of ridiculing another person in uniform?
No.
That is naval officer referring to the police officer. How can the police officer be talking back at me?
Yeah.
If you look at the video,
in terms of in terms of ranking.
So does the police not deserve respect coming from another person in uniform?
No. I think the police officer had tried to accost him. As a police officer, he knows what it means when a man stands sentry and he's on order. That is the first thing they teach you when you go for training. Now, the police officer is to protect the life of his principal. Wike was not in danger. He was not in danger. If the army officer was making an advance at him.
All right. Okay. Please hold your thoughts a little. Good
Hello,
morning.
good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where you calling
Hello,
from?
good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Oladele.
Okay.
Oladele calling from.
I'm calling from Tanke.
All right. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, I would like to start by on the following note. I think Wiki has given our analyst another reason to be in his bad book. That's just on a lighter mode anyway. I think on the issue of Wiki and the confrontation yesterday, what I would like to suggest is we should learn to separate human from issues. I don't want it to go personal, naming the gallant officer that stood his ground. I mean, it's quite clear that Wike's confrontation is towards Nigerian army, towards Nigerian symbol. So I wouldn't like a situation whereby the young gallant officer will be brought into the issue, making it personal. I mean, that can go a long way to any effect on his personal life, ambition, and family, and all of that. So that's just my own point of view. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, it's rather late for that because I don't know whether you have seen the social media this morning. The guy is all over the place. It's been celebrated, and as a matter of fact,
he's getting a lot of support, and at the same time, and bashing as well too.
From where?
Of course, not everybody on social media is applauding him.
Those are paid hairlings.
No, we're journalists as well. At least we must be able to balance the view from different both.
I'm not saying.
Back to the question. Back to the conversation.
Yeah.
We were talking about you being in uniform, another person being in uniform. There must be respect as well too.
I think.
And you are
the
a
person that
lieutenant
deserves
in the
a reprimand is the police officer.
Okay.
Because number one, your job is to protect your.
But if you look, if you logically consider the guy's, the officer's statement,
what was it?
It's a ridicule to the police officer. No. That you, as a policeman, cannot talk back at me.
Yes, he cannot talk back at him because he's mountain sentry. He's on order. You know what the police officer should have done, if I were him, that is, if he really knows his job, was to try and get Wike out of harm's way first, because anything could happen at that time. Because the army naval officers were armed too, so there could be provocation and gunshots. So I didn't see him do that.
He didn't do that.
So what happened there was ego war. It's as simple as that. He shouldn't have deteriorated to that level because his number one concern should be Wike, how to protect him as a minister.
Can we compare this? You recall the case of Chief Superintendent of Police in Lagos and Sanwo-Olu.
Now look at
how do you do the comparison?
No, look at the way Sanwo-Olu spoke. It was Sanwo-Olu that took charge of the whole situation. Was talking to him. Call your officer. Call your superior. I want to speak to him. I'm the governor. This and this. It was calm. It was gentlemanly. There was no lobbying of insults. You understand? So, and then,
all right.
Okay, and then what do you have? Don't forget that the governor had security retinue too. You saw they were all disciplined. That was so. What it simply tells you that anything around Wiki is chaos.
Well, the last caller has just said that the Honorable Minister once again has put himself in your bad books.
The man has always been in my bad book. Because he's always been in my bad, because his outing has always been disgraceful.
Okay, let's take a comment from Facebook. Wiki's use of foul language is not only crude, but deeply disgraceful regardless of the circumstance. He ought to have exercised control over his temper. There's absolutely no justification for resorting to name calling or referring to the officer in Nigerian uniform as a word FOOL that I cannot say over the radio. But hey, I just spelled that out. This incident should serve as a reminder to all of us. In any position of authority, we must refrain from using derogatory or gutter language towards our subordinate. Leadership demands composure, restraint, and respect. It would have been far more appropriate for him to simply walk away and address the matter through proper administrative channels rather than adopting a cowboy approach. I stand to be corrected by lawyers in the House, but the minister's use of foul language towards that officer amounts to form of public assault.
Exactly.
Not only on the individual officer, but on the integrity of the Nigerian uniform. Someone needs to call his attention to the importance of the nation's authority. Good morning, FlowFM. Wike is the true definition of modern colonial master. The FCT minister is power high. That's what he says in his comments. Again,
as a matter of fact, if I may add, I think the army, that guy deserves an honor.
Okay,
you wear him a medal.
Our time is fast spent, guys. Honestly. We'll have to move on, and then we can pick it up tomorrow. Most definitely, I think we might just have to. The views expressed is not in any way the position of FlowFM 92.7 or the staff therein, but as expressed by our in-house analyst Nicholas Uwerunonye and the individuals who called in on the show. I'm Danielle Shitta-Bey.
And I am Adedayo. Adeyemi, thank you for joining us. Your pattern shots in a few seconds, Nicholas.
Yeah, I sincerely hope Wike learns from that not everybody is intimidated by his stance, all those looks of aggression and coerced voice and things like that. No, not everybody can be intimidated.
And it's a good thing.
Yeah, I sincerely hope he learns that lesson.
All right.
Let's hope that.
We'll pick the conversation up tomorrow morning. Again, thank you for joining us. We're back tomorrow 8 to 8:30. Good morning.
Meet Tolu. This is FlowFM 92.7.
Good morning, Ilorin. You know what time it is. Wake up with us and get your day started right.
We've got the hottest headlines, trending topics, and the music you love back to back.
You already know we keep it fun, fresh, and real. Mid mornings with us, you won't want to miss it.
We bring the energy, the laughs, and of course the tunes that gets you through the day.
Afternoon on FlowFM is where the culture lives. Music, entertainment, and all the gist that you need.
And if it's trending, you already know they're talking about it.
Stay locked in, Ilorin. It's FlowFM, baby.
The night's young, the vibes are right, and we are flowing past midnight. You ready to chill? Let's go.
Listen anytime, anywhere. Stream us live, call us, send us a WhatsApp message. We're just a tap away. Flow FM 92.7. My music, my radio.